First things first, Mikel is not a finished article. To be the finished article, you need to cross the line. You need to win. That is the status of a champion. That is the status of a big club. Winning is non negotiable. It's been a roller coaster. Mikel's reign exactly epitomizes the malaise and the period where Arsenal has been a rubbish team. It's been a journey through different phases and different stages, a journey of survival, a journey of breaking boundaries, a journey of making big moves. And Mikel was supposed to take over from Arsene Wenger. I think, in my opinion, that he's fortunate that he didn't get that job. Because anybody taking over from Wenger was going to be a disaster. A disaster in the sense that the last 5 years under Monsieur Wenger was a struggle. We didn't qualify for Champions League for like the last 2 years of his reign. We managed to win an FA Cup to break a 9 year without winning any trophy. Consistently under Wenger, we qualified for the Champions League. We took it for granted. But also, we never really challenged for a long span of that time. I think we made the semi-finals, twice, 3 times in 21 years of consistently representing in the Champions League. We made the final, but which we, I think, in my opinion, were kind of like favorite to win it. We had an experienced team. We had a team that was ready to win. But fortune smiled on us. But if Mikel had gotten that job, I always tell people, Unai Emery getting the job after Wenger was an impossible job. He's a brave man taking that job. You're taking over from the juggernaut of the game. A man who was being the manager, the owner, the supervisor, the janitor. He has been everything about Arsenal for almost 3 decades. So that means everything runs through him. Any organization that everything runs through one person, especially an organization of that size, is bound to fail. Real Madrid doesn't run through Florentino Perez. Yeah, it might be the greatest president in the history of Real Madrid, right? In terms of winning and everything, in terms of pushing boundaries. But Real Madrid will be Real Madrid without Florentino Perez. Arsenal needed a period of time to adjust to who they are, to adjust an identity without the identity of the coach. It's a similar case to Manchester United. Manchester United was and is still synonymous with Sir Alex Ferguson. When an Arsenal fan or a Manchester United fan talks about winning or talks about like the great moments, they harken back to the days of Arsene Wenger or the days of Sir Alex Ferguson. So whoever is coming in, you would have to win to that level or close to that level for you to get that respect, to command the place, to command the occasion that you deserve. The case will be after Pep Guardiola leaves Man City. He's won so much. He's broken a ton of record. What? 100 points mark, the first time in English football. He's done a domestic treble, winning FA Cup, Carling Cup and the Premier League. He's won the Premier League back to back to back. He's won a treble. Those that within the space of about 10 years. A case of Man City is a case of a team with unlimited resources and with great structure, with a manager of the highest caliber. That marriage is gonna give or produce a winning machine. Now the case here, it's not about Man City. It's not about the laurels of Sir Alex Ferguson or Arsene Wenger or Pep Guardiola. We're talking about the next big thing. We're talking about the special coach we have in Mikel Arteta. Mikel goes beyond just a football coach. He is a manager. He had an insight into the malice that is going on at Arsenal. And what he did when he came in was to speak to the executives, in the case of the president and the president's son, Josh and Stan Kroenke, or Stan and Josh Kroenke in this case, to explain to them that if you really truly want to become an elite team, an elite football institution, a winning machine, the only way to do it is to shake the roots, uproot the roots, and replant, reseedling. If you've ever worked in a farm, you have a big farm, and you plant some things in there, you have to take out all those roots to be able to plant new trees. So the process of getting to this point right now, where we can effectively say we have the ability to challenge consistently, because this squad is not going anywhere. Don't let anybody deceive you. Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, they just signed 4-5 years contracts. William Saliba just signed 4 years with the option of a 1-year contract. Gabriel Magalhaes, Alexander Zinchenko, Ben White, Uren Timber, Declan Rice. We're going to keep signing players. This project right now is at the finish line where they need to finish. It's gotten to a culmination of a lot of things and processes and projects and steps getting to this point. And we didn't just get to this point alone. And I know people will quote and say, we spent a lot of money. Yeah, relatively. We spent a lot of money. Since the Premier League started, Tottenham Hotspur has spent more money than Arsenal. That should tell you, that is an alarm bell, excluding this summer. Tottenham Hotspur has spent more money than Arsenal Football Club since the Premier League started in 1992, if you exclude the summer transfer window. That is absolutely ridiculous. The point I'm trying to make is there was a period of time whereby we acted like a team like Brighton. We bought players cheap, we sell high. We bought players cheap, we sell high. Even the high that we're talking about, we don't even sell them to the maximum ability of the price. Immediately we get a good, decent price, we let them go. We tell Wenger, bring out your magic wand and get something else again from France, get something else again from Spain. Let us keep it going. It wasn't sustainable. It wasn't sustainable because teams of the caliber of Chelsea came in just when we moved to the Emirates Stadium. Manchester City came in, so the competition went up and became stiffer. We went from a league that was effectively being challenged between two teams, Arsenal and Manchester United. Liverpool never won a league within this period. The period of dominance of Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson, Liverpool didn't have a league title in 30 years. 30 years, that's 3 decades. We haven't won a league title in 2 decades. Teams typically go through this period of rise and fall. The difference is our fall has been so incredible and so unnecessary. Yes, it was unnecessary in the sense that if we got the opportunity of having an owner that was going to pay off the stadium steadily, give us a loan and just keep paying off the stadium steadily, not under strict restrictions, we would have won a ton of trophies up until now. I, in my opinion, would have won the Champions League by now. But we just went through this dormant phase of not spending barely anything, just getting by. Then when we finally got to the point whereby we flicked the switch and said, okay, now we're stable, we've gone to the point that we're self-sustainable, we've paid off the stadium, we can start spending, which was when the Kroenkes finally took over. Now you're playing catch-up. Now you're wasting a lot of money because the structure of spending is not there anymore. We went into a structure of what? Moving players, cheap players here and there across Europe and developing them. Now you're trying to change into, okay, we need ready-made players. Well, are ready-made players ready to take us serious? So Mikel's pitch to the owners of Arsenal Football Club, the Kroenkes, was we need to not just play well, We need to repair the reputation of Arsenal Football Club. We need to heal. We need to fix the relationship between the fans and the club. Because the relationship was damaged. The fans don't trust the team don't trust the fans. And when you have that state, that's a state of chaos, a state of anarchy. People coming to stadium, people paying season ticket holders are not coming to watch games. That sends a bad wave throughout the entire fan base. When you watch games on telly and you're seeing empty seats that have been paid for with people's hard-earned money, people who actually love their team. Because when you think about the fanaticism of football, is that somebody will travel far and wide just to watch a team play for 90 minutes. It has to be an enjoyable experience. It has to be an experience that you believe in. That you believe at the end of the day, this team is going the same direction as how I am going. This team feels and breathes how I feel. That feeling was lost. And let's state the truth. We, right now, Arsenal fans love Arsenal again. The love never went away. But we have this feeling of possibility, this feeling of hope. When you leave a team of that level, of that standard, feeling hopeless, feeling, oh, we're just trying to get top four. Or feeling, we don't stand any chance of competing. That is in a state you want to be. The players feel that too. And that feeling gets to the players. So right, we're going to a state or a stage or a process or whatever terminology you want to call it, whereby the feeling of positivity, the feeling of hopefulness, the feeling of joy has been restored. It's been restored between the Arsenal fans, the Arsenal players, and the entire fan base. There's a connection, a genuine feeling of connection flowing through the club. There's an alignment between upward and downward. And that is majorly through Mikel Arteta. His work on the pitch is just as influential as his work off the pitch. On the pitch, he has risen the standard, he's raised the level. He's coached players like Bukayo Saka correctly. There's a steady rise in terms of outputs, in terms of game understanding, in terms of management of games that we've seen steadily from Saka to Martinelli. If Smith Rowe didn't get injured, we would have seen that steady rise. Their production level is going up. Goals, outputs, dribbles, physicality, games, number of injuries, they've been managed correctly, and it's an upward trajectory for these footballers. The way he managed William Saliba when he came back from loan. Yeah, how it was managed prior to then, that is a case study for another day. But when he came back, I read somewhere that he didn't speak to Saliba for like a week just to gauge his mental capacity, just to gauge how much drive he has to play for Arsenal, just to gauge how much he is as a man. Do you want to prove yourself? Do you want to fight and show that I'm better than these guys? I want to start in this team? Or do you just want to moan up and down and just destroy a relationship that seems fragile already? There's a template, and the template is of standard. And the standard is, I'm trying to get this thing to a level. And that level and that standard we all know is Manchester City. And the way Manchester City are being run is not just the playing. The playing is the end product. A culmination of a large number of factors before you get to that point. They buy the right players, they profile the right players. Yeah, money is good. Money gets you those players, but also your image as a club. How your club is run properly, on and off the pitch, the state of affairs of the players. A bad egg in a good bunch, they take him out and uproot and send, like John Cancelo. Oh, you don't want to sit on the bench? No, you sit on the bench. You go to the training and fight for your place. And if you're good enough, yeah, you get back into the team. I say, I don't want to do that. Okay, out you go. That is the standard. Everybody, when it comes to the playing staff right now, knows what the standard is. What that means is a new player coming into that group can't be a bad egg because the standard is already set. You can't come late to training. You have to train as hard as you play. You have to be consistent. If you're not good enough, you get out. So we're getting to that level whereby the first 11 is so strong and we're trying to build a bench. We're trying to build a winning team, a team that is ready to win now. Now is the time for Mikel to deliver. Now is the time for Mikel to deliver on the promise he made. He wants to win the Premier League, which we almost did last season. Let's go a step further. He wants to be the first manager to win Arsenal the Champions League. He needs to improve his record in Europe. He needs to be able to play his first 10 players in Europe. And what that entails is he needs to have a strong bench. You can't play Rob Holding in Europe, so you have to get a Ewan Timber. In some games in Europe, you have to be defensive and play on the counter. You take out Zinchenko and play Tomiyasu or Kieran Tierney, capable footballers. You need to trust your players. You have to be able to trust Kieran Tierney if he stays, so he can play in Europe. So these are some things that Mikel, in my opinion, can improve upon in terms of trust. And where does trust come from? Buying the right players and letting the right players to leave at the right time. Football is all about timing. We very nearly got the timing right last season. Whether it's an intended consequence or not, but we didn't have the squad. We didn't have the belief that we can finish. We didn't have the belief and the squad to finish in the top 4 2 years ago. We failed and we came 5th. Last year, we didn't have the belief and the squad to finish by winning the Premier League. We failed and we came 2nd. We need to go a step further. One step further to win. We need to start winning. And we trust in Mikel Arteta to get us to the promised land. Now it's his job to go out there and make sure he doesn't fail, because failure is not acceptable. Failure has consequences. Questions will be asked. We've given you all the tools because we trust in you. Now is the time to repay our trust. We believe in Mikel. We appreciate the work that has gone into getting to this point, and we gave him a chance. He's a young manager that has never coached anything. And we've given him his chance at a club that he loves. Now repay our faith in you, Mikel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the content. And I'm looking forward to our game against MLS tonight. I believe it's going to be a wonderful spectacle. I hope we see Declan Rice and we can talk about the game tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and do have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye. Stay blessed.